Hey, Shalom, double honors to the apostles of GMS, honest you brothers that be pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. It's gonna be a video, man, based on two chapters right here, two books. All right, namely the book of Ephesians, the 6th chapter, and Thessalonians, the 5th chapter. I'm gonna start in the book of Thessalonians first, man, and it touches on a few things because pretty much, man, I was thinking, what to do what topic to do a video on, and I thought to do a video on the topic of being grounded, all right, not only in this word but grounded in terms of humility, all right, because humility is paramount within this truth, but also that comes about by way of studying, and thus being grounded within this word, man. All right, and this book touches on that a little bit, but also it touches on the times that we're living in right now, which is the times wherein the Most High is finna come back and really set up the 12 tribes of Israel as rulers on this planet. All right. So without much further ado, it's the book of Ephesians. Is that right? No, I want to start on the other one, man. I want to start on the other one I mentioned, because that's more to the point. So this is going to be in the book of First Thessalonians. All right. So bear with me. Let's see. There we go. All right, so this is the book of First Thessalonians, and I want to start. I want to be in. I want to be in the 5th chapter. All right. It says, "But of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you." All right. It's pretty much telling you that you should already know the deal. And really, that's fitting because, you get brothers in, Lord's will. I'll be one of those brothers that really get into the information in terms of what's coming on, what's going on out there, with the news and with Russia and with Iran and what's happening out there in the Middle East. So really, you should already know, like it says here, man. Right, of the times and of the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you. So you have no need for me to you should already know that, in other words, okay? All right, it's so blatantly obvious what's going to be happening out there and what's going on out there in the world right now, man. That you shouldn't need that. Although, through the Spirit, that will continue. All right, through the Spirit, you're still going to get that. But you really have no need that. I shouldn't be telling you that it's high times at the Most High. It's high time you should wake up out of sleep and all of that, man. And the precept I got for that, this is going to be in the book of 2nd Maccabees. All right, 2nd Maccabees, what am I talking about? My 2nd Ezra was the 9th chapter. All right, and the top on down, because that touches on that, man. All right, and that whole book of 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, is pretty tight too, man. All right, so this is 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, and it says, "And he answered me and said, Measured out the times diligently in itself, and will now see as parts of the signs past, which I told thee before, then shalt thou understand that is in the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world that he made." And that's what you got to do. You got to measure the times. You got to measure the signs. The celestial events that are happening out there, whether it be the mega moons that you had throughout this year, the so-called big moons, big moon sightings, the eclipses that we had this year. All right. The what do they call it? And also this year they also had the Northern Lights. What else did they have this year, man? In terms of the celestial beings, man, there's always stuff happening, man. Another thing that's always happening out there as of late is them earthquakes. When you read the book of Mark, the 13th chapter, it tells you that there's going to be earthquakes in diverse places before, and this was supposed to be the beginning of sorrows, man. So you should be already measuring the times and knowing exactly, this is the time when the Lord's, gonna send His Son back to destroy the society. All right. So it says there, then shalt thou understand that it is in the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world at which he made, and therefore when they shall be seen earthquakes, like I mentioned, and uproars of the people. And what you're seeing out there in the Middle East, right? They call it the Arab Spring. Also out here, in the so-called westernized world, right? People are right. They're protesting on that, and it's on a small scale and off of pseudo agendas and so on and so forth, for lack of a better statement. All right, you got people protesting because of pay cuts or job cuts and rises in tuition fees and so on and so forth. Those are uproars of the people, even on the minor scale. All right, meaning to say the people are getting more acclimatized to rising up against their superiors, man. Which is important, because that scripture is going to be fulfilled, to where also what it says in the book of 2 Ezra, the 15th chapter, there shall be sedition among men, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes. There's going to come a point within this Western world, it's going to look like them third world countries, man. Because if you track back the history of what was happening out there in the so-called third world countries before they were, physically uprising against their own, leaders and their kings, right, and their princes, what were they doing? They were protesting. All right, so these so-called westernized, countries like England and USA, where you got people out there on the street and protesting and all of that, that's just a precursor to what's going to happen in the future, which is where they're gonna, physically, they're gonna roll up on their government, man. And what's their government? What's these different governments gonna have to do? They're gonna have to roll up on their people, man. So you're gonna have nation up, rising up against nation, kingdom against kingdom, people against their own people, man. To where it goes to what it says in the book of, I believe it's in Isaiah the 13th chapter. It says something to the effect of, and every man shall return to his own country. Meaning, you had a lot of people migrating to these so-called Western worlds, man. But they're gonna eventually leave to their own country, because you're gonna realize this is all bullshit, man. All right, and the people that already exist there, they're gonna rise up against their government. But what's their government gonna do, man? Institute martial law. Right, and hence the chip and so on and so forth, right? And that's what you're seeing out there in the Middle East on a small scale where they practice it, but they're gonna institute that. You saw that with the Jade Helm and all of that, man. They're gonna institute that on their own people pretty soon, man. And that's gonna be a beautiful thing in itself. So of that, man, you should already know that, man. All right. So I'll go back to that's pretty much the point on that. I'll go back to the book of 1 Thessalonians, the 4th chapter, and I was at the second verse, and it says, "For yourselves perfectly know that the day of the Lord comes as a thief in the night." All right. When you go into the book of 2 Peter, the third chapter and the 10th verse on down, it tells you, the day of the Lord comes as a thief in the night, man. Wherein the heavens shall melt by being on fire, man. For them ICBM nuclear missiles are going to come in from countries like Russia, China. All right. So from time you're hearing the scriptures saying, the elements are going to melt, and the scriptures telling you that the judgment of America is going to come in 1 hour, and then you flip onto your TV and the TV is telling you that China's just developed a weapon that can reach America in an hour. What do you think they've done that for? They didn't say 45 minutes. They didn't say 2 hours. They got it down in that 1 hour marker. Why? Because that was for the fulfillment of the scriptures. All right. The same thing with North Korea, man. All right. All right. You see, when China brought out their missile, they put it in distance that missile can travel in an hour. And guess what, man? All the way from China all the way out to America, there, it was that distance, man. So they was kind of being cheeky in a roundabout way, but I believe it was North Korea that developed this new weapon. They straight up said this weapon can reach America in an hour. So like I've been saying all week, man, where are you going to go in an hour? All right, what are you going to do in an hour? And once that button is pressed, what are you going to do, man? All right, you see, you got a lot of proud Edomites out here, all right, that walk, lofty with their head held high in their asses, man. All right. Because you believe that the power of the children of the Most High is turning his back on his people. But that's not the case, because the scripture says, man, when you go into the book of Isaiah the 14th chapter and the 1st verse, the Most High will still choose Israel, man. He's still going to choose his people, man. All right? So you got these Edomites walking up all kind of lofty and all of that, and you're looking down on Jake and that, man. All right. See, real man is gonna be brought back to the planet, man. All right. The men of the Lord is gonna be brought back to the planet, man. See, the scripture talks about the men being risen up in the spirit. All right. And then they're gonna see that. They're going to be trembled and they're going to be troubled, man. You know, go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter and the 1st verse on down, man. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before such as afflicted him, man. Right? But it goes deeper than that because the Most High said he's going to make us a new threshing instrument, man. All right? We're going to be devouring these nations, man. And rightfully fucking so, man. All right? Because you, man, especially you Edomites, man. Especially you Edomites, man. All right? That's why the scripture says pride goeth before a fall, all right? And the scriptures is ever attributed to with you Edomites being proud, man. All right, so the Most High is going to suck that pride out of you. He's going to start with your monetary system, right? It's going to come by way of those missiles coming from Russia, from China, from I believe it's North Korea that's joined with China and Russia, man. I forget, I always get it mixed up, man. All right, but one of them Koreans, man. All right, because I know one of them is in allegiance with America, but really that's just because they got puppet leaders. America's got puppet leaders set up in that. All right, and the other one's got allegiance with Russia, man. All right, see, they're gonna suck the pride out of you. But personally, man, to be completely honest, I hope some of you make it, man. Why? Because man, the way you're gonna get tortured, man. All right, the way you're gonna get tortured, man. All right, that's gonna be a beautiful thing, man. And we know through these scriptures, man, that, you know, certainly the elites are going to make it to be the first fruits of slavery. Don't think that's just you're going to survive and it's going to be all right, man. You're going to let the scripture says, man, you're going to seek death and you ain't going to find it, all right? You're going to look for death, but you're not going to find it, all right? Let's get back to the scriptures, all right? This is the book of 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter, all right? And the 3rd verse, it says, when they shall say peace and safety, then shall sudden destruction come upon them, and as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So you got a lot of people out here, you know, oh, we're going to take out a mortgage, or we're going to buy this car, and we're going to do this, we're going to go on holiday. All right, it's all right. We'll pay it off in a couple of years, man. All right, that's not going to be that's not so, man. That's not what the scripture says, man. All right, scripture says when you're going to think yourself to be in peaceful case and all of that. And really, that's beautiful because we're in the biggest financial bubble that we've ever been in, that's ever existed. It's going to be the biggest financial burst that you've ever seen in your life, man. And you know who's going to be prepared for it? Them same niggas that you was looking down on when you was taking them loans, man. Because don't get it twisted, man. Do not get it twisted, man. All right? A lot of these Edomites, if not all of them, all right, ain't really got it like that, man. See, here's the difference between a Jake and an Edomite. Good credit and bad credit. That's it, man. All right, that's it, man. You see the guy that's pushing that Jag, man, that Edomite, man, and he be looking down on you. Why? That's because he's got that so-called good credit, so he can take up business loans, man. All right, and he could be a quote-unquote millionaire. All right, but the debt that he's got in comparison could outweigh the amount he's got in his bank, right? Is balanced. When you do the balance of these numbers, man, you actually find out they got a lot more debt than they have coming in per year. Now, how they do the business, especially when you work for corporate companies, big companies, man, they might have as business loans, all right. And what they'll do is they might take out a loan for 30 million on the basis that they're gonna pay it off over a couple of years off of the profits that they make on that company. That's why you had bailouts. All right, that's why you had government bailouts of the banks, and that's the banks, not even the manufacturing company, let alone them little clothes companies and so on and so forth down the food chain. All right, the banks, which is at the top of the monetary, food chain, they were so-called too big to fail, and they were taking out loans. All right, so that just goes to prove the point I'm making, man. A lot of these guys, a lot of these so-called business owners and so on and so forth, they got money, but they have a hell of a lot more debt, man. So they got all of that pride, but see, in one moment, just like how the scriptures say, all of that, your whole world's gonna come crashing down, man. All right, in that one moment of you realizing, God damn, man, we've done too much, we've taken too much. All right, we've taken too much, man. Like, and that goes with the scriptures. That corroborates with the scriptures, man. All right, that's what it says there. sudden destructions cometh upon you. That's gonna be that monetary bubble, that bubble that you've been living in. That's it's gonna burst. See, Jake, it's gonna be like, man, what's the financial burst to us, man? We ain't got anything anyway. We ain't paying off any. I mean, you got certain Jakes you can be paying off, and you might think yourself in a hell of a lot of debt. All right, you might be 10 grand in debt, man. When this bubble bursts, man, you're gonna have Edomites in tens of millions of pounds in debt, man. All right, and that's why you saw in 2008 a lot of them Edomites. There was a high, if I perceived that there was a high suicidal rate around in 2008. Now I say I perceived because I ain't got the information to where I don't like winging it, man. I ain't got the information to where I'm just gonna say it, and that's the case. But I'm pretty damn sure down when that 2008 crash happened, man, you had a lot of Edomites killing themselves. I didn't hear no story about Jake killing himself, man. Hell, some of them, hey, we were kind of happy because some of them banks that failed, we kind of owed them money, man. We said, hey, look, man, that's been dealt with, All praises to the Most High, Just being facetious, but you get what I'm saying, man. All right, but a lot of people that had invested in those and so on and so forth, man, they were fucked, man. It was messed up. All right, and that goes to show you that really, man, this thing can happen at any moment, and you really don't have no need. You should hear that again, man. All right, this thing can pop off at any second. All right, so I mean, I've been dragging it. I might not even get to. I might not get to doing all of the precepts. In fact, I'm just gonna stick with this precept, man, because I like it, man. All right, I was gonna go into the book of Ephesians and that, but you know what? This will do for today, man. All right, because I've probably dragged it out a little bit longer than I really wanted to do. But I'm gonna carry on with this. This is the third chapter. This is the third chapter. It says, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye brethren are not in darkness, right? And that day shall overtake you as a thief. So you're not in darkness, man. All right, right? You're not in darkness, right? You got the elders out there, like the scripture says, that prophets shall not be removed into a corner anymore. Right? You're not in darkness. You're in light. Right? You're enlightened by this word. Right? And this word has been pushed out there throughout the four corners of the earth to where you can access these videos at any point in the day, man. When you before you sleep, first thing when you wake up, you wake up in the middle of the night, you can't sleep. Any time of the day you can access this word, man. All right. This is the fifth verse, and it says, "Ye are the children of the light, and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor the darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober." So we gotta be what? You gotta watch and be sober. And I don't know if it's gonna say it in this one, but when I was flicking through the scriptures, it might be in the another precept I was gonna bring out in the book of Ephesians. All right, and that's in that's Ephesians, the first chapter. Right, it talks about praying without ceasing, right? And it talks about I lost my train of thought there, but nevertheless, look, man, you gotta be sober, man. All right, you gotta watch, man. That's what it says. It says watch and pray. I believe it says watch and pray, man. All right, you gotta watch what's happening out there and pray that the Most High deliver you out of that. All right, hey, it's good and well for praying for the stuff that you want in this society and that, but really, man, like what's this Jake said, like Bruce Lee said, don't pray for a pretty lifestyle, man. Pray for the strength to go through a difficult one. All right, so that you may obtain. Right, just adding to what he said, but the statement now corroborates with the scriptures, so that you might obtain, all right, the good stuff at the end. See, it's all about the end, man. All right, the journey through. Hey, man, if you was going to, if you had planned the day out, all right, with your woman or with your kids or with your buddies, man, all right, and that day out was gonna happen. Let's say at the end of the weekend, it was gonna be the best time you've ever had in your life, right? And you had planned the stuff out, and you're gonna do it. It don't really matter what happens during the week, man. It doesn't really matter. All you're worried about is what happens at the end, right? At the end of the weekend. That's the same thing with this kingdom, man. right, that we're trying to obtain. We're not, this is just we're just on the path to that, man. This is just the path towards that. What really happens now, I mean, yeah, you feel some type of way about it. I'm gonna try to pretend like I'm superhuman and I have no emotions. Alright? But you wanna elevate to the point where just, you put your priorities in order, in other words, man. You gotta get your priorities in check, man. Alright? To where you realize exactly what, like, it's just how it says in the scriptures. I believe it's in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter. Alright, and I know the same similar statement is made in the book of Matthew, where it talks about entering at the straight gate, right, the difficult gate. Right, on the right it's gonna be like a water, and on the left it's gonna be like a deep fire, man. I might have got that vice versa, but irregardless, man. Right, and it says and there be a narrow path, and there can only be one person that can go there at one time. Alright, and then it says something to the effect of, if this is the kingdom, how you gonna how you gonna enter into the kingdom if you ain't gonna pass by the danger, man? All right. So let me touch on a few more points on this, and I'm gonna call it a day, man. It says, for they that sleep, right, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for an helmet the hope of salvation. Right? It says, for the Most High hath not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by the Lord Yahushua Mashiach. All right. So yeah, you pretty much, man. I'm gonna call that Hopefully that was of some edification and that. Alright, I apologize for the rant, but that's how it goes sometimes. And, you brothers stay up and all of that. And I'll catch you on the next one. Shalom.